Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Rambling Toffee podcast. I'm Mark. I hope everybody's having a great day and looking forward to the weekend, especially when there's no Everton to watch in the Premier League or anything like that at this moment in time. But then again, a part of me is looking forward to the season starting in a few weeks' time. Um, that's being positive. Anyway, today's podcast is kind of going back on my first episode when I was discussing my frustrations and my anger regarding the communication and the transparency and engagement that Everton Football Club put out to its fan base. Um, and today I'm going to touch a little bit more on that subject because as since the interim board had been announced and since we found out the investment is coming in through MSP into the stadium and also probably into the club itself, there has been no other communication since then. And the only kind of engagement that the football club are putting out at the moment is the usual tweets and the usual social media tweets and other information regarding the club, the team itself, and regarding going back for pre-season training and everything regarding that, and having it talking to players regarding coming back for pre-season and everything else like that. There has been no other kind of communication regarding the direction the football club is taking, and because of that, as you can guess, me again speaking in this podcast and in my previous podcasts is continue speculating about why why are they doing this? Why are they not communicating? Why are they not engaging with its fan base? And why? And it seems to be the same question across the board. If you go on social media or if you go through journalists, through any articles, other podcasts, or anything out there that's the fans have been talking about, it's always about when are we going to hear about this? When are we going to hear about that? When are we going to hear about signings? The biggest thing, but which is frustrating at the moment, is there is no kind of news coming out regarding players being signed. We need new players coming in to strengthen the team and get ready for the season, especially as we're a lot weaker now than we were at the end of last season. Sorry. And it's so frustrating. So the only kind of information we get is from journalists and from little links here or there where we're linked with this player, we're linked with that player, we put an offer in for this player, and all of it is speculation. And at the moment, the only kind of information we are getting is outgoings, and we are now seeing uh, with one or two this again through the journalists, one or two of the younger players, Ellis Sims being one of them, who has actually been in the first team squad, looking likely going off to Coventry City. We've had one of the other younger players leaving the club. We've had another player leaving the club, um, and it's just through the academy. So basically, at the moment, that's all we're getting is outgoing and money maybe coming in from that. So we're all speculating, saying, well, that money obviously will be put towards signing players, not just the money that we've had for Anthony Gordon and Moise Keane money. So at the moment, the frustrating thing is that all we're getting is like link to this player from link that player, link this player, and all we want is to see some clarification, some engagement of are players gonna sign for the club, because it's getting worryingly more and more with each passing day that we're going to go into our first pre-season friendly with a weaker squad, and basically it's not good enough. It's not going to help Evertonians, including myself, our mental health, and to understand the gravity of this is this: if we do not bring any players in, we are going to struggle. Simply, we're going to struggle until and we may be in another relegation dogfight, and we may be going down again. And all this is hindsight, of course, and everything of that nature is probably not the case. And hopefully, we have got until the 31st of August to sign players, to bring players in. But you would think, start of pre-season, which was on Wednesday, you would think that there'll be players coming through the door quite quickly so they can settle into the squad and get started for the friendlies that are upcoming and then continue in that direction. But as per usual, nothing is out there. And when I talk about communication from the club, as I mentioned previously, when you get Kevin Felwell, the director of football, supposedly doing an interview, and the club again is not deciding to um, put that interview out there to the fan base, it builds it adds to the frustration, and that's the thing. It adds to the frustration as a fan to try and understand what is actually going on. What's the plan going forward? Where are we going to get to the position where are we going to be stronger into the next season? But at the moment, we're just speculating. Will we sign any players? Do we have any money at all? Is there anything like that? It's so frustrating. And I want to do a podcast being positive about the start of the season, positive about the new players coming in, positive about where we're going to go into the future. Now, in this episode, I will talk about something very positive, which is the stadium, and I'll talk about that in a moment regarding the stadium and the communication that is coming from out. When we talk about communication, there you go. There is better communication coming from the stadium side of things from the club through Colin Chong and through what he's doing with the stadium plans and everything else and how everything's on schedule and it's going in the pathway and now restaurants are being made available what we're going to expect in the stadium when we come to actually go into on our first game, which is hopefully in a year and a half's time. So I'll talk about more of that in a moment. But I go back to the communication, which is the football club, which is the other side of it, which is about commercially what's happening commercially. We no longer have a sleeve sponsor at the moment, so we need to know: are we getting a new sleeve sponsor? Will it be announced soon? Is there any news out there? Can you keep us, you know, communicate with us what is actually going on regarding that? But when it comes to also the football team and the signings and everything else, as I say about Kevin Felwell, is that that interview needs to go out. He may have done the interview and he thinks he's done his job and he needs to do everything else, but it's back at the communications department at Everton Football Club to put that interview out there. And we're on the 7th of July. And how long, he's been in a role since March 2022. He's done one interview then about what he wants to do at that point in time. But now we want to know what's his plan going forward? What money is available? We don't need to know how much money is there. We just want to know what is the plan going forward, not just for the first team. We want to know how the academy is going to be developing, how we can get younger players to come through into the first team so they can develop further and actually play in the first team. Because it would be wonderful to know what's actually going on in that front. But again, nothing is out there at the moment, and that just builds the frustration and that empathy that is not there. Sorry, apathy, which is not there between a fan base and the club, will continue to be divided until the new people come in and changes the communications department to make it better and more fundamental to get that information out to the fan base. Because at the end of the day, we use the term we're customers. We are customers of this football club. We pay our money. I'm a season ticket holder. I pay my money. I invest my money year in year out to go to the home games. I don't get the chance to go to the away games, but there are fans out there who go to the away games and they spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds, you know, every week near enough to actually go home and away, travel from all over the country, not just over the country, all over the world, to be honest with you. And they come and invest their money and time to come and watch Everton Football Club. Even when we're not doing well, there's still that passion and that drive to come and actually watch your football team perform and willing to spend that money, not just on travelling and buying tickets and everything else like that. It's also on merchandise and it's also on the food and everything else that is linked to the football club. And the thing is, that is the biggest thing that needs to be changed when the new team people come in. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, hopefully sooner rather than later, that when MSP and everything else that has been sorted out, they can come in, they can bring the right people in, the right CEO, the right chairman, the right finance director, but the right people to actually deal with the commercial side, the communication side of the business, and to get it out there when it needs and must. Because if we continue to go in the direction that we are going after the new people come in, it's just it's just going to be more and more a divide, and we just keep on thinking same old. Nothing's changed. But I'm hoping, I think we all hope, that MSP coming in and their expertise, hopefully, with being with other sporting clubs, be able to come in and being typically, not the way I'm going to say this, but being American, they want to get that information out to the fan base. They want to get all that information, that communication out. They want to engage with the fan base because you rather have them on your side than against you, which is what we currently have at this moment in time. So you see, going forward, when I talk about communication and engagement, it's same old at the moment. We've had the resignations, we've had the interim board coming in, being announced, but then nothing. It's like business as usual. Yes, we're coming in to do a transitional from, you know, the old board and everything regarding that to the new board, whoever that may be, coming up in the next few weeks. But in my heart of hearts, I'd rather it happen now, this minute, so there's some optimism, some positivity going into the new season. Yes, we may still have issues with getting players in and everything else, but if we can see that there is a plan coming forward, that the people that come in can explain to us, this is what we're going to do with this football club, that this is where we're going to go, this is how we're going to get there. We've got this great stadium on the waterfront, ready, in the next year and a half. For you all to come in. We're going to do lots of things. We're going to sort out the commercial side of things. We're going to get the best people on this team at this club to actually do a job to actually make Everton Football Club great again. Not just on the field, but off it. And if we have people who, if MSP bring in, are good people and engage more and communicate more and, work with the Fab and the fan forum, work with the fan base, and by being better at that, you will bring everybody together. We'll all be in one big, big team, and we're going to go forward. And what that means is when you have optimism off the field with the new people, with the fan base, everybody joined together, you start to see it transcending onto the field, and it will be players will start to feel it when they go to the training ground or coming into the ground. They'll start seeing the fans a lot more happy in themselves. And that motivates them to think, well, we're going in the right pathway. But also what it does, and sadly it might be January window of this, but when they are in and we've got the right board in place, that if we haven't got the time now, but if January comes along and we need to bring players in and we can do, players, agents and players who are maybe available in January will look at club favourably and say, well, everything's doing really, really well there. I think I want to go there now. There's optimism. They're going into a new stadium. There's a lot of positivity around there. Yeah, I think I can go and contribute. That's what you want. That's what you want to have. But at this moment in time, maybe this is why we're struggling to bring players in, and maybe a lot of players are starting to leave as well. But maybe why we're not bringing players in is because a player is looking at the club and thinking they've been struggling, and the fans are not happy. The board resigned and everything else. I don't want to go there at the moment. I don't feel confident enough to go there and feel that I can further my career. You know, and that's the feeling that some players will have. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe something different. Maybe it's the terms of the salary or terms of moving to the club and moving in the area. I don't know, but kind of have an inkling that maybe that's what one of the reasons why this is actually happening. But if you've got something really positive going on, and you've got a board that's engaging, and you get a CEO or you get communications out there that says, this is what we're doing. Yes, the last, it's been very, very poor. We shouldn't be in this position. We should be up further up the table. We should be challenging in Europe, challenging for trophies, challenging, for even for league titles. Because of the size of the football club, we should be ambitious enough to want to get to that position. It may not be yet, but it might be a few years down the line. We don't know. But we've got a great stadium. Again, going to the stadium here, there's a lot of opportunity that's going to be made there from commercial level, naming rights, sponsorship, and everything else. There's a lot of positive things that's going to happen there. Hopefully between now and when we move in, and hopefully the new team through MSP will come in and do the things that they've hopefully will be really, really good at, and to get this club into a position that when we're in that stadium that we have specifically on field, that we have a strong team, um, competitive team that is actually going in the right pathway, and also the fans can feel that that this team's going to go somewhere. And if it's with Sean Dyche, so be it. And if Kevin Felwell is going to continue as his role, well, we'll find out in time if he's going to continue in that role or if they're going to bring somebody else in. We'll watch this space. But as I mentioned previously, with somebody, director of football, it comes up with a 120-point plan of how to change, uh, with the review, how to change things at the football club and how to get everything going in the right direction. It's obviously not working. So, is he an issue? Comment below. Let me know what you think about Kevin Felwell. Do you think he has become an issue as well? Is he become because being part of, dealing with Bill Kenwright and dealing with Mashiri, that maybe he's just accepted that, he's not going to challenge them about how, what way forward for the football club. And if that's the case, and he's just deciding, well, I'll just go along with what the board's saying, what Mashiri says, and what Bill Kenwright said, not challenge them, then the question we'll have to ask is he good enough to be in that role? We'll have to watch his space. Anyway, so that's my view, what my feeling is at this moment in time. Hopefully, in the next few days, few weeks, we'll start seeing positive change at that board level. And hopefully we'll hear from Kevin Felwell as well through the interview, and hopefully hear more. Hopefully hear from Sean Dyche as well. Hopefully we'll have new signings coming in, so we'll have some positive news going forward. But at the moment in time, it continues as per usual. Continues speculating the way we are and trying to understand what the hell's going on at this football club. Until we have that clarification and that communication changes, we just have to keep on hoping for the positive things going forward. On a final note, as I mentioned regarding the stadium, and I have mentioned it throughout this podcast, that is a positive thing that's going to happen in the future. And I think what we're seeing is this wonderful stadium just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I was lucky enough to be in New Brighton a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually amazed when I took a picture of the stadium from the opposite side of the river, and I made it bigger, and I actually shared it on social media on Twitter. And the people's reaction said they didn't realise how big it was, and all I did was just made it a little bit bigger in the picture. But seeing it and what the guys, like Baz 1878 do and Mr. Drone do with their drones going up weekly, the work that they do from the get go has been absolutely fantastic to see. This staging, starting with just what it was, just part of the dock, and just grow it into something so amazing. And I just want to put it out as a positive thing to say to Mr. Drone and Baz1878. Follow them on Twitter. Fantastic people they are. Do a wonderful job. And also, there's loads of other people out there who go up there with a drone. All you guys who do that is absolutely fantastic, week in, week out, showing this wonderful stadium that it'll be so fitting when we move into there. And that's the positive we can only take at this moment in time. I just wish, of course, as I go back, I just wish that we have something positive regarding the team going forward. And, hopefully new signings coming in, hopefully we'll start seeing strengthening of the team. And hopefully, as I say, with the new investment coming in and new people coming in, hopefully the future's bright. But regarding that, but as I mentioned about the stadium, it's going to be fantastic. I'm looking forward to getting in there to sit down, find my seat, be able to watch, my Everton, doing their stuff, and hopefully being very competitive and challenging at the top end. And it'd be great for European nights, and it'd be great if we had European nights and cup nights and everything else like that. It would be absolutely wonderful to have that. But at this moment in time, that's the only positive thing we have. And I know further down the line, we're going to have commercial deals there. We're going to have sponsorship. We're going to have new naming rights. So money is going to start coming in from that point of view. I'm not going to talk more about, the breach that we have to deal with in October with the Premier League. That's for another day. But I'm going to end on a note and say, keep on believing, keep on being positive. It's hard, as I know. Most of my podcasts, when I'm talking on here, is mostly rambling on in a negative light about the club and how I feel about it at the moment in time. But I try to be as optimistic as I possibly can that hopefully the next day something good will come out, new signings, good will happen further down the line, and that's all you can be really. But for the meantime, we're reaching for hopefully in a year and a half's time that we can look back on this and say that it was an experience, and hopefully the people who are still there currently will move on, and we'll have new people who will bring positive change, and we'll be able to actually focus more on the team, focus more on how we do and how we fare, and hopefully to continue in the Premier League and that we don't struggle like we usually do. And hopefully it's the right manager that we have. We know we don't have to keep on going down this wonderful road of sacking manager every once a year and keep on changing it when we're struggling. I just hope we can allow Sean Dyche to continue the way he's going, and hopefully, we can improve further and go in the right pathway. So anyway, on that note, that's this podcast done for today. I do appreciate everybody who's listened. The feedback I've been getting is really positively, and it's given me so much confidence to continue with this and hopefully create new content going forward. Keep an eye on that in the future. But please keep on giving me the feedback. Keep on giving me the positive feedback or even negative. Any kind of feedback is helpful to me. I do appreciate it. And on that note, I will hopefully be back next week for another podcast. In the meantime, have a great weekend. This is the Rambling Toffee signing off. Bye bye.